The 2008 Singaporean Grand Prix remains one of the most infamous races and stands out for all the wrong reasons. This is the story of Crashgate, a scandal that shook Formula One to its core and questioned the very essence of fair play. You'll be left in awe once you get to know the hidden truth behind Crashgate, the scandal that dared to ask what price to pay for victory. It was September 2008 when the first ever night race of Formula One was being held. This wasn't just any race. It was a championship showdown between titans under the floodlights. Lewis Hamilton, in his silver McLaren, held a fragile lead. Felipe Massa, in his orange Renault, chased him like a hungry lion. 7 points separated them, a whisper between glory and heartbreak. But in the shadows, another player lurked. Fernando Alonso, the two-time world champion, sat in his Renault, seemingly out of the running. Or was he? As the race roared into its 12th lap, a move so audacious it left everyone gasping, Alonso pulled into the pit lane for an unexpected tire change. The commentators and the fans were baffled. Was this a desperate lunge for a podium finish, or something much, much more sinister? The early pit stop, unorthodox as it was, held sneaky potential. Singapore's unpredictable streets were notorious for safety cars, yellow flags that could reshuffle the pack. Alonso, if timed right, could jump ahead of the entire field when the inevitable yellow wave. But a shadow of doubt began to creep in. Was this a clever play, or a blatant disregard for the rules? A calculated bend in the game to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat? The tension in the air thickened, mirroring the furrowed brows in the commentary box and the gnawing anxiety in the stands. Had Renault, in their desperate quest for glory, crossed an invisible line? Just after 2 laps of Alonso's move, a plume of smoke erupted from the back of his teammate Nelson Piquet Jr.'s Renault. The car lost control, scraped the wall, and spun to a halt. The safety car, the very flag Renault had hoped for, was deployed. But the cheers of relief for Alonso were quickly strangled by a wave of confusion and suspicion. Piquet, a rookie known more for his temper than his talent, spun out in a heart-stopping moment, smoke billowing from his car, just as Alonso needed a safety car most. Was it coincidence, or a chillingly orchestrated act? While on the other hand, Felipe Massa, the Brazilian hero leading the championship, felt the fire of betrayal lick at his gut. The roar of the crowd, once a symphony of support, turned into a guttural growl of disbelief. This wasn't just about a race, it was about the integrity of the sport they love. The FIA, Formula One's governing body, launched an investigation faster than a Ferrari out of the pit lane. Media outlets buzzed like an angry hornet's nest, dissecting every detail of the crash and Renault's strategy. Eventually, cracks began to show in the Renault facade. Renault's confident mask was peeling under the scorching heat of suspicion. Then came the bombshell. Leaked radio transcripts. Not just any words, but a chilling order just before Piquet's crash. His engineer's voice, cool as a cucumber, cut through the airwaves. Do a stupid thing. Those words were like a grenade exploding in the paddock. Fans, commentators, even drivers felt the sting of betrayal. Whispers of fixed race and dirty play weren't just whispers anymore, they were a roar. The pressure on Renault intensified faster than Alonso on a hot lap. However, the bombshell dropped on September 29, 2009. The FIA, after a thorough investigation, declared Renault guilty of a deliberate crash orchestrated to gain an unfair sporting advantage. The punishment landed like a lead foot on the gas pedal of their ambition. A 2-year ban on disqualification points and a $50 million fine. Alonso, although not directly implicated, was stripped of his 2008 Singapore Grand Prix win, a hollow victory tainted by the stench of deceit. The Crashgate scandal was a gut punch to the world of Formula One, exposing the corrupt core of ambition and the lengths some might go to for victory. It was a race where fair play took a corner too fast and ended up in the wall, igniting a firestorm of questions. What price? Victory, indeed. Renault plummeted from champions to punchline. Major sponsors like ING and Mutua Madrilena decided to back off following this incident. Their logos, once plastered on the cars, became ghosts on the grid. The French team, once a title contender, teetered on bankruptcy's edge, their pit lane in awkward silence replacing the usual pre-race engine symphony. The financial fallout was brutal. Renault lost a whopping $50 million fine from the FIA, a hefty smackdown considering their budget already took a hit from losing sponsors. Legal fees piled up like used tires, and whispers of engine supplier deals disappearing swirled through the paddock. The impact wasn't just financial. Key personnel like Flavio Briatore and Pat Simmons got banned from the sport, leaving talent gaps as wide as a Singapore corner. Morale dropped faster than a tire pressure in the humid Singapore heat. The team that once boasted world champions became a cautionary tale whispered in pit lanes around the world. Crashgate became the scar on Renault's legacy, a constant reminder of the day they traded fair play for victory. And while they eventually returned to Formula One, the road back was long and bumpy. From the ashes of Crashgate, a revolution roared. Rules tightened like bolts on a championship car. The FIA were now watching everything like a fierce watchdog with sharpened senses. They weren't just after the bad guys, they were protecting the heart of Formula One, the part that thrived on fair play, not sneaky crashes and whispered deals. Crashgate was a wake-up call, a scar on the sport's history, but also a chance to learn and make things right. Felipe Massa, robbed of his Singaporean glory, felt the emotional earthquake of Crashgate. His championship dream, within reach after a record-breaking qualifying lap, slipped away like the night's mist. Seeing the safety car, he said later, was like someone playing with my life. The home crowd's cheers turned from a symphony of support to a discordant chorus of disbelief and anger. Their hero, betrayed on his own turf, became a symbol of the sport's bruised innocence. Beyond the financial and emotional crashes, Crashgate raised unsettling questions. Was Formula One a showcase of skill and bravery, or a place for sneaky cheaters? Did the roar of the engines celebrate human genius, or mask calculated deceit? The FIA slammed the brakes on this ethical skid. Regulations tightened like a championship pit stop. Loopholes were filled with newfound vigilance. Penalties, once mere fines, became hefty suspensions, ready to catch any team trying to play dirty. Technical rules, once secret whispers, were suddenly in neon lights, promoting transparency. Crashgate wasn't just about punishment. It was about a brighter future. It was a reminder that the true spirit of Formula One, the thing that made millions cheer, wasn't about fabricated crashes and shady deals. It was about fair play, about pushing the limits on the track, not in the shadows. Yet the echoes of Crashgate still linger. The question remains, can we be certain that the champions crowned are champions earned, not manufactured in the shadows of deceit? In a world where victory is measured in milliseconds and millions, where ambition burns bright, the answer, perhaps, is never entirely clear. Crashgate may be over, but the ethical dilemma it exposed continues to cast a long shadow. A stark reminder that the battle for the soul of Formula One, the fight between integrity and manipulation, is far from over.